Hi guys, welcome to a brand new series Java Beyond Java. It's here we will be talking about the advanced or modern Java concepts beyond Java 8. So in this session I'll be talking about Java's takeWhile and dropWhile methods of Stream API that were introduced into Java 9. Fine. So now let's talk about these two methods that were introduced into Java 9, and then we will compare them with the features that were already present into Java 8. So first thing is that I'll be creating a list of integer to see what is the result of take while and drop while, to show you how exactly this take while and drop while works. So I'm creating a list, and you can notice that I'm creating a list of integer by using a list dot of, which was actually introduced in Java 9 itself, and this creates an immutable list in Java. That means you cannot add, remove or modify items from this list numbers. Okay, so if you create an arrays dot as list, it creates a list, and that will be a list of a restricted size, whereas this list is an immutable list. So let me now create some elements here, 2 4 maybe 6 5 6 5 6 11 and maybe 20 and 25. So I'm creating a list, and out of this list I would like to retrieve those elements from the list that are less than 10. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll just use these streams for the same. So nums.stream, because it's an extension of the Stream API that was introduced into Java 8. So stream dot, now I want to work with this method, that is take while, and take while takes the lambda, so I have to provide a lambda expression here. So the lambda expression x should be less than 10. Okay, so that is what I want to retrieve, and while I am retrieving that, this give me this as a list. Okay, so I'll just use a to list, and that should return me the result as a list. So I'm gonna just take the result into another list here, so I'll call it as result equals to. Fine, so here I'm retrieving the result of this, and I'll just print the result for you. That should show up all those elements that are less than 10. Okay, so that's what our goal was, right? So let me just save it and retrieve this. So when I'm retrieving the elements, I'm retrieving the data that is less than 10. So we have achieved our goal. And let's now first talk about how this take while function works for us. First of all, what it does. Okay, it starts from the beginning. So it starts from the beginning of the list. So here in this case, it has started from this 2, and it is picking up the element 2 4 5 6. The moment it sees the element that does not match the condition here, then it stops there itself. It immediately stops. Okay, so that is a very important point about this take while. We can compare this with filter as well. You might be thinking the same thing can be done using filter, but we will see the difference between the filter and the take while as well. So what it does, it stops immediately. So when it stops immediately, it stops at the first number, in this case, or a condition, first number that do not match the condition. Okay, so in this case, what is that number? In this case it is 11 that does not match, so it stops at 11. And what's the advantage of this? It is very fast. Now how can we just say it is fast? Okay, so I will prove you that it is fast, and faster comparing to the filters. Okay, and it is fast for you can say large sorted data. So we will see that in details as well, why I have written it as very fast for large sorted data, and what happens with the unsorted data as well. So I'll just call it as demo 1, and or else what I will name this as take while. Okay, so this is a take while function, demo 1 for take while. All right, so you can find out the code. I'll just be adding the description, the link for this particular repository in the video description as well. Now that we are done with the concept of take while, we will talk about do while, and then we will be comparing them with the filter. Okay, so they look like filter, right? So we could have done the same thing with filter as well. So let me now talk about a drop while. Now in this case also I'm just gonna use the same condition. I'll just reverse that condition. Now what I'm gonna do is, instead of taking a take while, I'll use what? I'll use a drop while here. Fine. And the same list is there, and I want to try and retrieve the element. So first of all, just run this piece of code and we'll see that I get all those elements that are actually greater than 10, right? So all those elements that are greater than 10 are filtered to me. So what this does now, so it does not start from the beginning. You can say that it skips, it does start from the beginning, but does not include it because that condition is not true, right? So skips uh, all what we can say is skips all numbers in this case which are less than 10. Okay, so based on the condition, it is going to skip all those elements that do not satisfy the condition. And also the moment it hits 11 here, in this case it stops what you can say, the moment it hits 11, the skipping of element stops. So let me write that and explain you what exactly I mean by that statement. The moment uh, it hits 11 in this case, not all the cases, okay, just in this case, the moment it hits 11, what happens is skipping stops. Okay, and returns everything after that. After that, let's save it. Now understand what it does. So what happens is, whenever I use a drop while, starts from here, skips this, skips this, skips this, and this. Why is that? Because the condition is true in this case. They are all less than 10. So if the condition is false, that means whenever the condition becomes false, it starts including everything after that. So everything written after 11 will be included. Okay, so that's how the drop while works. Take while, it starts from the beginning, starts picking up the element as long as the condition is true, and the drop while starts skipping the element as long as the condition is true. The moment the condition becomes false, drop while starts collecting the element, whereas take while stops collecting the element. That's how drop while and take while works. I know that you might now be confused with one important concept here. Let me first put this into the repository and talk about that. You might be thinking, why should we use a drop while and take while when we already have the filters, right? Drop while, let's call it as demo 1 for drop while. Now the question is very logical and very good question. If you are thinking that when we already have filter, why do we need a drop while or take while? So this can be done with the filter as well, right? So if we want to retrieve the element with a filter, we can do that. If we want to skip certain elements with the filter, we can do that as well, right? So let me first change that to drop while to filter. So let me just clean up this thing that I have written there, and instead of taking a drop while, I'm going to take a filter here. That definitely works perfectly like a take while in this case, right? So it will retrieve all those elements that matches the condition in terms of filter, right? So it is going to retrieve me, get me all those elements that are less than 10. So this result is exactly same as what? Take while, right? The result is same, but we will find out the difference here. Now let's talk about the difference. Filter obviously produces the same logic as take while, but it checks every element in the entire list. Now what do we mean by checking every element in the entire list? If you have noticed in the first demo, I showed you that when talking about the take while, you see it here, it stops immediately after the first number that do not match 11. But here what is happening, the filter does not stop at 11, it is going to go to 11, 20, 25. Everything is checked, whereas take while doesn't go to these numbers at all. Okay, now how can I prove you that take filter goes to all these numbers and take while does not go to those numbers? So for that, what I'm gonna do is, I'll keep this as it is, and I'm simply gonna copy everything that I have and let's call it as takeWhile, and compare them both now. So let's call it as list of integers nums1, and let's call this as result1. Let's do a nums1 stream, and let's print result1. Okay, so instead of taking a filter here, let's take a take while. Okay, so you will now see the difference in these two. And what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna add a number that is actually less than 10 here, 6. And the same thing I'm gonna do with the take while as well. So I'm gonna save this, and when I save this, and now I'm gonna run this and show you the result. So the first result is for the filter. Filter is actually including that 6. Let me change that because I already have a 6 in here, so you should not be confused on that. So let me include something like 3 here and 3 here as well. So 3 is obviously less than 10. In filter, you notice that the 3 is collected, whereas in take while 3 is not collected. So this is the main difference between a take while or maybe drop while or filters. Fine. So what is the difference? The difference is clear cut. In terms of filters, what this filter is doing is that it is picking up all those elements that are less than 10, and it traverses, that means it travels to every single element present into this particular list, right? Whereas when I talk about a take while, what it is doing is it is obviously collecting those elements that are less than 10, but the moment it finds out the element that does not satisfy the condition, it stops here itself. So take while stopped early. Take while is iterating to only this element 2 3 2 4 5 6, and at the fifth element here it stops, whereas filter does not stop here. So filter, this take while is not actually a replacement of filter, but take while is what you can say it as, it's a faster way of collecting the records. So take while does not actually replace the filters. Take while uh, stops early, it does an early termination, so it is faster for large sorted data. That's why I have written in the first example itself that it works very fast for the large sorted data. And if you don't have a sorted data, then obviously take while or drop while will not work there. So there you have to compromise with the concept of filters. Filters are slow, whereas take while and drop while are faster. And Java understood that most of the list that we have, most of the data is actually sorted. So that is why the concept of take while and drop while was introduced. Filters takes a lot of time. Suppose you have 100 students into a list, and there are students who have scored more than who have scored less than 50, and there are only 4 students that have scored less than 50 and they are fail. Now you want to filter out the failed student. If you use a filter on that, it is going to check all the 100 students, irrespective whether the student has scored more than 50 or less than 50, whatever it is going to check all those 100 students and pick up those students who have scored less than 50. Whereas if you have a sorted list, then at that time what it is going to do is it is going to pick up only those elements, like if you have the elements where students are scoring 2 4 10 and 50, the moment it finds something like 51 or something, then it stops. So it is not going to check rest all 96 element if there were 4 students that are failed. So in such case, take while would give you a very better performance comparing to list. So wherever you can use take while, use take while, and the drop while. If there is no chance that if you have an unfiltered data, you can go for obviously a filter, or you can sort that and also use the take while and the drop while. I hope that you have learned a new concept here. If you have learned something new, please subscribe to my channel and encourage me to create more such content. Thank you. See you in the next video.